As you can see, our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, is back with me on set. News about the 2034 World Cup. Now, Kaveh, we were musing, weren't we, that the way appears to be clear for Saudi in that year. What have you got for me?
Well, just in the last few minutes, Saudi Arabia have confirmed that they will be bidding to host the World Cup in 2034. Their Ministry of Sport has confirmed it. They say their country has a deep-rooted passion for football. I have to say, I saw that myself at the World Cup in Qatar. There were more Saudi Arabian supporters there than from any other country. There were 70,000 fans there. Of course, that is because Saudi Arabia is right next to Qatar. But I saw for myself, Saudi Arabian population, the people I saw, are very passionate about football. The Ministry of Sport also says that they have experience of hosting first-class events. Saudi Arabia has qualified for 6 World Cups as well, so they say they have a history of achievement when it comes to football, especially in Asia. And significantly, this bid has the full support of Saudi Arabia's leadership. And we've been talking about this today, how this is all fitting into place. We've had the announcement earlier today that the World Cup in 2030 is going to be in Spain, Portugal, Morocco, and also some games in Uruguay, Argentina and Paraguay. That means that 2030 we're going to have a World Cup in Europe, Africa and also South America, which paved the way for us to have a World Cup in Asia or Oceania in 2034. And as you were saying, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out Asia World Cup, who's going to bid? It's going to be Saudi Arabia. Initially, they wanted to bid in 2030, jointly perhaps with Greece and Egypt, but I think they were lent on a little bit, or maybe they changed their mind and they decided, no, the way FIFA politics works is let's everyone get something that they're happy with. 2030, let's give it to Europe, Africa and South America. We'll focus on 2034. Now, they're bidding. They've got the support of the leadership. Of course, they do. It would take a very, very brave person to bet against them winning the right to host the World Cup. And I can't really see anybody who would go up against them.
So how controversial would it be if they were A, to bid and B, to get it?
Well, it would be very, very controversial. It would be controversial because of Saudi Arabia's human rights record. For instance, Amnesty International has accused Saudi Arabia of embarking on a program of sports washing to try to obscure its extremely poor human rights record. Human Rights Watch says Saudi Arabia spends billions of dollars hosting major entertainment, cultural and sporting events to deflect from the country's poor human rights record. So we saw how controversial it was, Qatar hosting the World Cup. This is going to be equally, if not more, controversial. The other side of the story, what people in Saudi Arabia would say is that football doesn't belong to Western Europe. It belongs to the world. People in Saudi Arabia are also very, very passionate about football. They would say, we're not doing this for sports washing reasons. We heard from the Prime Minister of the country saying, I don't care if people accuse me of that. We're going to carry on doing what they're doing. They believe they have a very young population. They believe that the country is opening up. They believe that they need to move away from their reliance on fossil fuels. They want to expand their leisure industries, their tourism industries, and they want to make Saudi Arabia an international hub for business and tourism, and they're using sport to do that. They've got Ronaldo there, they've got Neymar there. We've seen everything they did with the Saudi Pro League in the summer. All roads were leading to them hosting the World Cup, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to get it in 2034.
Well, all roads leading to them dominating sport. They're getting sport from all over the world. If they get the World Cup, is that their crowning glory?
I think it will be. You know, apart from the Olympics, it is the biggest event in world sport. I think they saw what it did for Qatar. Yes, there was a lot of bad press, there was a lot of scrutiny, there was a lot of controversy. But at the end of the day, Qatar thought that the World Cup put them on the map. It's made them major players in that region. And in that region, Saudi Arabia wants to be the major player. They want to be a leader in everything. And I think they've seen what Qatar have done, and they've seen that the impact it had on their own population. And that is why they have invested so heavily in sport. And as you said, not just football. We've seen them effectively try and take over golf. There's the Grand Prix there as well. In the press release just now, they've said
boxing goes there.
Boxing goes there the whole time. They say that they've had more than 50 world-class events being held in Saudi Arabia, sporting events recently. And you're right, I think the World Cup will be the crowning glory. And I think Qatar have still got ambitions of hosting the Olympics as well. So I think it's likely that in the 2030s, we'll have a World Cup in Saudi Arabia and probably an Olympics in Qatar as well.
Kaveh Solokol, our chief reporter.